Hey, welcome back, Veteran Nation fans. So today, I am not live. I'm not doing a live this weekend. I'm actually going to be camping with my son and having a good time with that. But I wanted to have some content ready for you guys so that you can get your fix of Veteran Nation. I know, it's funny. Uh, but actually, today's video is about you saw what I put out yesterday about DOGE. Uh, quick little fun video that I did about the guy who was blind, which is like everyone was calling out that irony. But while I was posting some of that stuff, this came up, and I was like, you know what? That's going to be a good video. I will go ahead and show that. And it's people out there with Doge going around doing lots of cuts and lots of freezes to various government agencies. Uh, I've been asked by some people, how is this going to affect VA? And I've had a lot of people tell me, oh, they're cutting VA benefits. So I want to get into that. So let's start with the article that I was sent where someone told me, yeah, they are cutting VA benefits. Okay. So this is a Mother Jones article, and it's why Trump's potential cuts to veteran affairs would be a disaster. Now you have to when you see this stuff, you have to immediately wave the yellow flag because both sides of the aisle really like to play politics with veteran stuff. So I don't care which side, whether it's Republican or Democrat, I don't believe half the shit that they say about what they're doing with the VA because you find out most of it is not BS. Now here's right now potential cuts, potential cuts. So these aren't cuts; these are potential cuts. So that's the first flag right here with this. Doge's grand plan is to lay off federal government jobs. Well, 30% of those jobs are veterans. Oh, okay. And there's a lot of veterans I know who are uh, taking advantage of early retirement opportunities and stuff like that. So just because they're veterans who are not going to have a job anymore doesn't mean that they're just kicking people to the street. Uh, Not at all. In fact, a lot of them are like, "Oh, you're going to offer an early retirement? Yeah, sign me up. I'll go do something else." And with a lot of veterans, they can purchase back their military time if they haven't taken a military retirement. So just because they're veterans doesn't mean that this is ever a bad thing. Uh, so let's get into this. In so they said Trump promised retribution as first in his second term. For March April issue, we spoke with those targeted about the lessons from the first term, fears of a second, and plans to fight back. This is a very biased source, so take all that with a grain of salt. You didn't retaliate against Trump supporters, J6. Those people weren't put in solitary confinement. You didn't go after Trump and use lawfare. So both sides do this. Stop. In one of his many day one executive orders, Donald Trump called for a 90-day hiring freeze. So no one's lost their job with that hiring freeze. Not hiring new people. Okay, we're clear. Federal employees to reduce the size of the federal government's workforce through efficiency improvements and attrition. Do we not want efficiency improvements? I think we do. I can say as a veteran dealing with the VA, I absolutely want efficiency improvements. Michael Embrick, a Navy veteran in Iraq War and war in Afghanistan, who does advocacy work for the veterans, including as a policy advisor for the Secretary of Veterans Affairs, has regularly raised concerns in Rolling Stone and other outlets about how such a freeze would affect those who have served in the military. Medical professionals, crisis hotline responders, claims processors are desperately needed to keep the VA running. Well, we can get rid of medical professionals because we don't need the VA. We don't need the VA. Like, if you're in community care, you're not relying on the VA for your medical needs. And we are proving, and that huge expansion happened in Trump's first term. So, yeah, we're proving we don't need VA medical professionals. Ask AVA. He had one go through his Facebook account and then label him a dangerous person because he plays airsoft. Like, are you kidding me? which, by the way, check out a Veteran Affairs Media. Check out everything. Like, you won't believe that story when you start getting into it. Crisis hotline responders, yeah, that's fine. That most of that stuff is done through what do I say? It's done through a contract anyway. Uh, and claims processors. Uh, so less people to deny claims is what you're saying. Uh, Now with the hiring freeze, veterans will wait. Nope, that's not what I was trying to do. Veterans will wait longer for care. Disability claims will pile up, and crisis lines, lifelines for veterans on the brink will be understaffed. They don't have to be. They don't have to be. Like, stop screwing around with the veterans' disability claims. How about that? Have you considered that? No, they want what these bureaucrats want is they want control, and they want you to know that they're in control over you. And that's what half of these denials. I've seen so many veterans, including myself, get denied for things that are just ridiculous. I just had my appeal. I've been 100% disabled for a year. I just had my appeal accepted. So if the appeal is good, why did you deny me the first time back in 2021? So, although Trump's inauguration order says it does not apply to military personnel of the armed forces and submitted an exemptions list via the VA, a subsequent memo from the department says that additional exemptions to the hiring freeze for veterans must pass through the Office of Personnel Management and Secretary of Affairs. Okay, so it's not military because veterans and military are separate. Veterans used to be in the military but are not any longer. So he said it would not affect the military, active duty people, reserves. Okay, it's not affecting them. So what? See, they're blurring that area between veterans and military. Okay, uh, and must pass through the OMB and Secretary of Veteran Affairs. Yeah, so yeah, there's a freeze, but you can still hire people. Absolutely, like it says it right here. Okay, so the rest of this, my goal. So this is an interview with this guy. My goal is to go back to college. When I started to apply for colleges, I figured out really quickly the GI Bill was not living up to its promise: free college tuition for military service. When I started to use it on as one of the first post 9/11 veterans, it barely covered the cost of tuition. Well, yeah, that's been a major problem. There's something we can do about this. And later we came up with the post 9/11 Montgomery GI Bill, my crash course in the government and politics. Yeah, because both sides have given false promises to veterans over the years. Um, I think the reason the VA gets a bad rap, especially from the right, is because it proves that a national healthcare plan can work in the US. Are you freaking kidding me, dude? Are you kidding me? The VA is the largest insurer in the United States, and it sucks. It sucks. There's a reason why every time there's a study and they ask veterans, how happy are you with your care? It's like 70% are not satisfied. It sucks. It does not work. Like, if your belief of one payer healthcare system, universal healthcare, all you have to do is go sit at a VA and talk with the people, and you'll see how bad it is. I have very good private insurance, but I end up waiting months to see a provider, whereas at the VA, my appointments are scheduled relatively quickly. Well, I'm glad yours are, because guess what? Most that doesn't happen for. In fact, I did several lives in one day where I was just trying to get glasses. I was just trying to get these right here. Guess what? I had to drive 100 miles, 100 miles to get these. And guess what happened when I got there? They were like, well, you don't have an appointment, so you need to go away. I called for an appointment. They said, we don't take appointments, just walk in only. Jesus. This is what I get frustrated with. Just a lot of veterans who, well, I have good health care. Good. I'm glad you're having a good experience, but so many are not. So stop acting like we don't have to fix a problem here. We do. Uh, That would be. There's a lot of talk that in DOGE that the VA should be privatized. I love my community care. So you love yours. I love my community care. So that means I believe mine should be all across the board. I actually think veterans should have the choice. I think the VA needs to get out of the healthcare racket, give all those hospitals to Health and Human Services. Think about how other Americans could take advantage of them, not just veterans. And then the VA can advocate for us. But community care, okay, you want to compare them? Look at the military or the veterans who've been put into community care. They're way happier because they don't have to drive 100 miles. My doctor, since I got put into community care, my doctor is now a 15-minute drive from my house. 15 minutes. But glasses are not covered in community care. So I had to drive well over an hour. The VA does have a large budget compared to the rest of the federal government, but not compared to the Department of Defense. Okay, why are we comparing the two? Like, the VA is not going to be buying planes. One fighter jet is like $2 billion. Like, seriously? The VA can outperform the private sector. So why isn't it? Why is it not? When it comes to national health emergencies, okay, the VA provided vaccines for non-veterans during the COVID crisis, supplied over 1 million pieces of PPE early on when people couldn't get masks, and provided negative pressure rooms to isolate patients. The VA, like literally when I got COVID, they were like, do not come here. Do not come here. Stay at home. Stay at home unless it turns into an emergency. And the VA, like, they mail me my stuff. Like, I need prescriptions, they mail it to me. In fact, they mail me so much stuff. Do you know how much paper? Every time I get a letter from the VA, it'll be a 1-page letter of the stuff I need, and then about 8 pages of stuff informing me of my rights on shit that it's like, I'm never gonna read this. You're just wasting paper. Like, just give me a piece of paper. You guys love websites. Give me a piece of paper and tell me what website I should go to read all that stuff. During Hurricane Sandy, the VA was there to provide medical assistance and respond on the spot with mobile VA vans to assist people who may have been injured or displaced. Okay, but that's FEMA's job. Why is the VA doing other parts of the government's job? That's what the VA tries to do. Like, what would happen if the VA gave all those mobile things over to FEMA? Would FEMA be better to respond? What could the VA or the government do better to support veterans? The long-term solution is a public healthcare system that serves all Americans. No, it's not. No, it is not. The VA sucks. The VA is overburdened with the failures of private healthcare system. No. The VA is overburdened with its own failures. Put in a disability claim. Put in a disability claim. Like, try. I had a friend who was waiting on a surgery for 6 years, and she only got it because she moved into a good VA system. She went to 3 horrible ones where all they wanted to do was run tests and give her more meds. I have another veteran who reached out to me who rather than do a surgery for his pain, they just kept giving him opiates. He then realized, oh, I'm getting addicted to these things, put himself into rehab, got cleared of it, then said, okay, back to the VA. I want my surgery now. And they said, no, we're going to cut off all treatment for drug seeking behavior. He didn't want drugs. He wanted the surgery. So you notice how, like, okay, we're over halfway through this, and we still aren't seeing what necessary cuts are being made that they claimed are happening. Every time there's a spending battle in Washington, the VA is caught up in the spending battle. Absolutely. Why? Because both Democrats and Republicans use the veterans. Both of them do. Veterans don't know if they're going to get their health benefits or compensation for disability because the government's not funded, then that money is not there. Okay, stop with the, okay, if the government shuts down, okay, VA disability is mandatory spending. It's not discretionable. So guess what? Those checks still go out, even if there's a government shutdown, every single time. This guy is playing politics with the veterans. Just stop what you're doing. The American Federation of Government Employees represents a lot of veterans. The VA doesn't need a vast overhaul. If you were to ask most veterans, does the VA need a vast overhaul? They absolutely would tell you yes, but in a clear majority, like well over 50%. Not like 20% to 40%. It's over 50%. Um, what it needs is more funding. Oh yeah, more money. Always throw more monies at the problem. More attention, more support from the private sector healthcare system to be. So it needs more support from the private sector that you say it is replacing, and that it does better than. That doesn't make sense. So there you go. That's that article. Now this one here is NBC News. Trump's executive orders cause chaos at the VA, some staffers say. About a dozen Department of Affairs employees described the far-reaching effects of Donald Trump's recent executive orders. Okay, so the policy changes have already chipped away at staff morale, and now they feel the VA, or the impact will be felt by the country's 9 million veterans. They don't give a shit about the country's 9 million veterans. They give a shit about their own jobs. They're worried about their own jobs. Look, they're causing chaos. Yeah, their own jobs. Nearly a dozen VA employees working in various capacities across the U.S., from boiler plant operator in Nebraska to a cancer researcher in the Northwest, spoke with NBC News. Okay. Said unwelcome changes started to ripple through her hospital just days after Trump issued an executive order stating the U.S. would recognize only 2 unchangeable sexes and directing federal funding agencies to stop funding gender ideology. This right here has nothing to do with veteran healthcare. Less than 1% of veterans and the U.S. population are transgendered. But that's immediately what you go to, because that was the thing that was really affected. Transitioning people. I know people who've been waiting years for surgeries, can't get them. But, oh, you need a gender reassignment? They were pushing them right to the front. How about when they were pushing out veterans? They were pushing out veterans for illegal immigrants. In addition to mandating that patients in other facilities that align their birth sex hospital, okay, we don't care. Watching hospital, so yeah, her pride, LGBTQ, we have to be treated special. That's what's getting cut, and that's what they're upset about. But did it say? No. Chaos at the VA. They didn't. A dozen Department of Veteran Affairs employees. This isn't happening to every veteran, just those who want to be special. The Hampton VA did not return a quest. Yeah, okay, gender ideology, got it. I'm looking for anything of substance here. There are instances where we've gotten official messaging to no effect, and then 3 hours later gotten official messaging reversing that. It's very disorienting and scary in the sense, yeah, this is change. This is a new administration. This is change. That's what happens. The effect of the hiring freeze and return to work. VA hospitals have experienced severe staffing shortages. Guess what? Those were pre-Trump. Pre-Trump. They were happening all throughout the Biden administration. They were worse under Obama. Trump came in and said, we need to change the way we're doing things in his first administration. And he made a lot of positive changes at the VA, a lot of them, ones that I have personally benefited from. But the big thing was getting rid of a lot of these people who were dead weight. Nurse for at least 5 years. Okay, so again, you've had staffing shortages for 5 years. Guess what? 4 of that was Biden. Only 1 was Trump, and that was during COVID. So you've had shortages, but this freeze is now the big problem. That you've been dealing with them for 4 years. And you know what? If you've been dealing with those people, we probably don't need them if they haven't been there. What we should do is probably find a way of doing it without more red tape. Uh, said a team had a spreadsheet of 400 people who received tentative or official job offers. They have to go through background checks, drug tests. Oh, here's another thing. Do you know that the VA hires doctors who cannot get a license? Again, a Veterans Affairs Media. Go watch his videos. You'll learn. And you know what their solution is? Rather than to give needed care, is to say that no, this person is a problem, and every time someone like AVA or the Angry Vet, go check out his channel on YouTube. Every time they show up, they have to be escorted by security just to see their doctor. Ridiculous. Um, the team had to resend all those offers with a template letter that whole. Okay, who cares? The next day, I'm waking up to very upset people. They're not hired yet. So, okay. Uh, she fears the policy flip flopping combined with the fact that the VA positions generally pay less on average than comparable positions in the private sector will make hiring more difficult. Why are you paying them less? Probably because they can't get hired elsewhere. We've seen that time and time again. Sheila Elliott, who's been at the pharmacist for the Hampton VA Medical Center for 35 years and is president of the local union chapter, said the freeze could affect whether a new VA clinic can open in April as well. You've been there 35 years. We've had all this red tape. You should probably retire. Let some new blood in. Let's find some new ways of doing this stuff. Is my understanding that some people who had agreed to come to the VA don't want to come here because of all the chaos. Okay, so here's what you do. You give all those veterans community care. They'll go out to a doctor and a nurse out in town. You don't have the people at your VA clinic. Put them elsewhere. Give it community care. And here's the other thing. If they're in community care and someone's not pulling their weight, you know what they do? They drop that individual. If someone's not pulling their weight while they work at the VA, guess what? They have to remain on staff. Includes a nearly list of 40 exempt positions, including psychologists, physical therapists, and police officers. Why does the VA have its own police officers? That is complete and total BS. They don't even they refuse to wear cameras. And they AVA, the Angry Veterans Affairs Media, and the Angry Vet, go watch their videos. The VA, the VA police do not hesitate to violate your civil rights. She currently sees 30 patients a week and treats veterans for a variety of mental conditions. So that's 5 days a week. Okay. 30 divided by 5. So that's a normal amount. It's not like you're seeing too many. I would say that's pretty standard for most doctors. See, the VA's policy is to bring as many employees back to the office as space permits, and the VA will make accommodations needed to ensure employees have enough space to work and will always ensure the veterans' access to benefits. Yeah, so it's a hiring freeze, but they still are hiring people. Like, they just said, okay, we're going to blanket freeze it, but, when you have someone qualified, send it up, and we'll look at it and get them hired. So we're still hiring people. Just we slowed down the rate a bit to make sure that we're hiring the best people. Effects on life or death research. Oh, please. I've never heard of the VA doing research that is, used by everyone else. Most of it is not. The best I would probably say is prosthetics and people who've been amputated. Only because the VA has a much bigger population than out in town. End of life patients who have no other care options. At no point are you seeing where they're not saying, oh yeah, people are actually losing access to care. They're just saying, oh, they could. And, oh, wait, we're not getting research money anymore. And again, the NIH, that's where it came from. Wasn't even her team's VA funding was cut prior to Trump taking office, resulting in nearly half of the already small team being laid off, and many of their studies being at least partially funded by the NIH. NIH cuts were temporarily blocked by a judge this week, but if they go through, it will affect their studies with which use drugs that cost thousands of dollars per administration. That money is not going to get covered by the VA. The money gets covered by the NIH. So now another source of unknown. Okay, well, you have different funding. Oh, a systematic attack on LGBT. That's what really is the problem that they're mad about. That's what they're really mad about. Wait, was this the same woman as this one? Hold on. No. Okay. Now this one's Newsweek. Department has confirmed that more than 1,000 staff members has been let go as part of Trump's wide-ranging purge of federal bureaucracy. Yeah, DEI programs. I guarantee you that's what the bulk of it is. DEI programs. There are 6.2 million veterans. Okay. Dismissals. Are we 6.2 or are we 9 million? Because now there's some discrepancy in that. Compensation offers tax-free benefits to those with disabilities resulting from diseases, events, or injuries sustained, worsened during active military service. This is where people always miss, or worsened. So make sure you know that when you're doing your claim. Also, are benefits to surviving members of deceased veterans. So Doug Collins, he's not yet confirmed. Why? I don't know. Like, he should be confirmed. He was a very competent congressman. I'm telling you right now, that's not happening. The reality is veterans benefits aren't getting cut. In fact, we're actually giving and improving services from the incoming VA secretary himself. The VA has confirmed that mission critical positions, including those involved in administration of benefits, are not being eliminated. So, right there. LGBTQ and DEI jobs have been eliminated. Research and funding has been put on hold. Those are the cuts. But it's caused chaos. Like, so he did issue a press release. Notice how they didn't put that in the other two articles. So we saw two from the left, one from the right. And I can tell you right now, I have yet to see any VA benefits get cut. None whatsoever. And that's, just because it's Democrats doing it this time didn't mean that Republicans didn't do it last time. They always do it, both sides. So don't think that, oh, you're just coming at this from the right. No, I've seen both sides mess with veterans, and it really pisses me off. But that was the whole issue with this, these stories people brought to me. They're like, they're cutting the veterans' benefits. No, they're not. They're cutting the veterans' health care. Gender reassignments. That's it. So, yeah, don't listen when people are doing this. They're just pushing their own political agenda. The veterans, I hope they cut more red tape. I hope we reduce the bureaucracy. I actually hope they take every VA hospital and just say, Health and Human Services, here you go. Take the funding, take the hospitals. Like, we'll still maintain an office to make sure the veterans that come there for care are helped. But there you go. There you go. So there you go. That's the skipper's 2 cents on this. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Like I said, this is going out as I am camping. So thank you so much for watching. And as always, thank you for being worth serving.